Ah, managed to press one button. Okay, welcome to Quarkus Insights. This time about cute templates. With where are you? There we go, Martin and Georgius.
Hey, hey, folks.
But before we jump in, I wanted to show a little thing. Oops, if I remember to do the. I failed very hard on doing this now. Right, here's my button. There we go.
All right, well, infinite screen.
Infinite screen, yes, there we go. So anyway, no, I wanted to. So a few things. We are doing. Where are you? Here we go. No, this week there's going to be the Quarkus 110 release candidate. Right. But a few other things that happened last week was that Antonio something, I can't remember, Goncalves, I'm going to mispronounce his name. Done 2 books like Understanding Quarkus and Practicing Quarkus. And there's actually, there's one more coming. John Kling and Ken is coming later. But anyway, next week we're actually going to have Antonio, not next week, 2 weeks from now, I think. Mm-hmm. We're going to have him on the show to talk about the books and actually maybe talk about a few other books here, but about his experience with Quarkus. But anyway, it came out last week, so if you want to see some books, try these out. They are live and available now. And then let's see if I can come back to you guys and press the right button. There we go. Almost. I'll turn that off. Hey, there we go. Okay. And then Antonio says, he's read all the books. You should buy them. That's for sure. Yes.
I've reviewed one of them. Yeah, you should definitely buy it.
And Jeremy is first time watching this show really live. Well, welcome, Jeremy. And Argentina's coming. Oh, you guys are chatting today. That's awesome. So anyway, Martin, I think this is the first time you're actually on the show.
Yeah.
So maybe give you a quick introduction, and then you can head into your thing.
Sure, why not? So I work as a software engineer at Red Hat, and currently I'm part of the Quarkus core team. Mostly I'm working on Arc, which is a build-time dependency injection we have in Quarkus. Then I also contribute to many other extensions such as scheduler and Qute and reactive routes and so on.
Okay.
That's probably it.
Oh yeah. Yes, you did the ARC stuff with the CDI implementation you had.
Yeah, actually, most of my career in Red Hat, I worked on CDI and Weld, which is a reference implementation of CDI. So it was quite obvious that I can contribute to Arc, which is a build-time oriented thing built on top of CDI.
So you were like super early member, right?
Yeah, I was working on the spec. I mean, I was how was it called? GSR expert group member or something. Then I was working on the TCK, which is a set of tests for the specification, and then also on the implementation.
Okay. So nice. How do you get from there to a template language?
Yeah, that's quite an interesting question. So actually, a few years ago, I created a pet project, open source pet project, which is about templating, about implementing Mustache.js, if you know this JavaScript-based templating. So I just said, back then, I tried to implement it in Java, and it was fun. So that's it.
Okay. So did you like have an application you wanted to write with like server side templates, or is just like, this mustache thing is cool, I want it in Java as well?
Yeah. First, I wanted to write a server side application. I wanted to use some cool templating engine, and then I realized that there is no such engine available, so I decided to create it my own. That's it.
Okay. Well, if you said you had some demo or some preparation, we can get started with that, and then people can see what we're actually talking about.
You mean some Qute demo? Okay.
Yeah.
So maybe before we start, maybe we can tell something about it, like
Sure.
introduce the technology and so on.
Right.
So yeah, so Qute, if you look at the name, it stands for Quarkus templates. So it's a templating engine that we design specifically for Quarkus so that it meets our needs. So we decided to create something new because we believe that we could innovate even in this area because there are plenty of templating engines written in Java. And so you can decide whether you integrate something existing or create something from scratch. So we decided to go the other way because none of the existing templating engine actually fits our needs.
So what was the missing part?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Because I know the answer, but I was like, why are we doing another templating? But can't we? Yeah.
Okay, so basically the big features we wanted to implement in Qute was first, we wanted to have something which is native image friendly, because most of the templating engines use reflection to access properties and invoke methods and templates and so on. So that's one of the big features, to be able to have a templating engine that works even without reflection. And then the other two big features could be first, some build time oriented stuff. So basically we want to detect some problems during the build and not at runtime. And yeah, for this we need some kind of type safe templates or time safe information. So we'll talk about this later. And the last thing was that we wanted to support not only the imperative way of programming, but also support some kind of reactive style of programming. So we decided to make some parts of our API asynchronous.
Yeah. Because I remember then, actually, I think Qute started, I came into it like September last year. And I think Qute was the first thing I kind of saw as a new thing we were working on. And I was like, why? And then when you gave me this very nice email, remember, I was like, yeah, but if you look at Thymleaf or FreeMarker or Velocity, they all have they're good template languages. But yeah, they are not, they are hard to change to be non-reflective.
Yeah.
They are hard to change to be build time stuff. And the async was kind of like the home run of like, yeah, even if we could probably go and add some of those two to, for example, FreeMarker or Velocity in some way, do the whole async stuff would just be a whole other pain. So
yeah, it's definitely easier because you can, it's easier. Although it would be possible to probably reuse some existing libraries and contribute back, that it would be much more complex.
Yeah, to do it. And that's actually a general one. I just want to we try very hard to actually use existing stuff, and then if they don't fit, we contribute back. For example, Hibernate, right? We've done a lot of that stuff, and that's gone back into the core. So what's in Quarkus is just a thin one. With Arc and Weld, it's one of those cases where, hey, we actually there was some challenges about Weld that we have to do. But in general, for anything else, we try and feed back as much as we can, and only in what's called worst cases we do this.
So, if I can, speaking of Arc and Weld, from users' point of view, it should be equal. Like the only problem we have is portable extensions, which is not that important from users' point of view.
Yeah. So I just sorry. Go ahead. No, go ahead. Sorry.
No, it's okay.
I just wanted to add to Max's point that we don't have a not invented here syndrome, and that is clearly evident by if you go look at the extensions that Quarkus supports. So and we only add new stuff like this like when there are very good technical reasons. And what Martin mentioned here are 3 very, very compelling technical reasons for why we needed a new template engine.
Yeah, actually, another point is that when we decided to create Qute and when we were thinking about the API and syntax and so on, we tried to get inspired by other existing solutions, because it's obvious that there are many amazing templating engines out there. So, for example, it's very similar to, I don't know, maybe Task.js, Mustache, Handlebars. But we also take some concepts from, for example, from expression language and JSF, if you remember this, because we make, for users that are used to EL, expression language, and JSF, we allow them to inject beans directly, for example. So it's not always about, yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Well, I just say, of course, because the name, like it's a Qute name, so that's a requirement too. So that's what.
So we have a question,
yeah.
Max, if you want to put it on the screen.
Yeah. So this is question. Go ahead, George. Go ahead.
Yeah. Sorry. This question is because I don't think we were absolutely clear about this. Is Qute bound to Quarkus, or can it be used standalone in another web framework?
Yeah. So Qute is not bound to Quarkus. It's developed as an independent library. But the thing is that if you use it standalone, some features are not available. Mostly the features that depend on the build time processing. So, for example, those type safe checks and validation, or other stuff that requires some hooks into the build process.
And I can verify. I'm actually using Qute and JBang for the whole template stuff. So as a general template engine, Qute can be used completely independent. But yes, as I said, when the Quarkus specific features are not there.
Yeah, it doesn't mean that those features cannot be implemented outside of Quarkus, but that's not our priority at the moment, because Quarkus is our target. So
that's good. Well, let's show some code. We've been 30 minutes. We haven't seen code yet.
Okay, so
13, not 30.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, 13.
So I'll try to share my screen, and we are going to explore our quick start. So let me try it. Oops. Okay, so can you see my ID?
No, you can just see your. Oh, that's the wrong. Wait. You're not sharing yet. That's why I was sharing the wrong one.
Sorry, once again. I'll try that. Share. Okay, once again.
Now we see you.
Yes. Perfect. So I have here our quick start about Qute. It's publicly available, and first we're going to walk through the classes and templates we have there, and then we will try to make some modifications. So the first thing we should probably show is this obvious hello world. First, I will open the class, which is a simple Jaxxer's resource, hello resource in our case. The important thing here is this one. It's an injection point, because we have Qute integrated in Quarkus, and so you can easily inject a template in your code, in any bean actually. In this case, the field name is used to specify the template name or template ID, so that Quarkus is able to inject the correct template. And this template class or interface actually, this is our Java representation or Java object that represents the template contents. So if you look at the source main resources templates, this is a special path we use to collect all the templates. We have a file hello HTML there, and if you inject hello template like this, then content of this template is injected into your bin or Jackster results or whatever. And that's one thing. If you do a mistake, like if you say hellos and attempt to inject a template which is obviously not there, we fail during the build. So this is a nice one.
Very nice.
Okay. Then we can also take a look at what happens inside the results method. It's quite simple. We take the template, then there is a method called data, which actually is used to pass some data to your template so that we can render the output. And it actually creates something we call template instance. Basically, every rendering is connected to one template instance. And then we return this template instance directly from the results method because we have some REST EZA integration that takes the instance and does all the stuff for us.
So just the template in this case is immutable, and then you create a new one that you can...
Yeah, exactly. The template itself is immutable, and then we pass some data to the template and render the output.
Nice.
And if you look at the template itself, it's pretty simple. It's some HTML code, and the only interesting part here is this one. It's a Qute expression. So like any other templating engines, we use some expressions to output the value, and the expression in Qute is surrounded by curly braces. In this case, it's not the simplest possible expression you can have, but we have here this always operator. So if you work with Kotlin and other dynamic languages, you probably know that this would mean something like if the name is not available, if it's null or not found, then use the default value that is used here.
So yeah, I think that Groovy calls this what the Elvis operator or something like that.
Yeah. If you look at the output, I should start in my application. So I'll start it. I'll kickstart in the development mode first.
So this would give you an error because you didn't rename the hellos.
I did.
You did.
Yeah.
You did. Okay. Sorry.
Yeah. It should work.
Damn.
So no problem. So if I use the default, obviously we don't have, if you look at the resource method, we don't have any query param called name. So we basically pass null into the template. So it knows that we have no name and we pass world. If I change name max, changes the current value. One nice thing we have implemented in Quarkus is that if you are in the development mode, then you can modify the template and all the changes are watched. And whenever you hit the button to reload the page, for example, we basically restart the application and it's very fast. We can change the templates as you go. For example, if I say hello and I don't know what else here, and today I'll save the template, and if I look at the application, hit the button, you can see the change immediately.
So what happens if you go now and put a variable that doesn't exist in the code here? It will show an error page, or?
No, in this case, no, because this template does not contain any type safe information, or is not. There is no way how to know whether the property exists or not. So in this case, if you use something that doesn't exist, whatever we do here, you will receive something like not found. But this one is just a placeholder we use that can be configured.
Can you get it to error? That's one.
Yes, sure, it could be, but there's a question: what's the best default behavior?
Sure.
Anyway, we try to make the Qute as flexible as possible, so you can do a lot of configuration under the hood and so that it fits your needs.
Nice.
So this is the simplest possible template we have. Maybe we can switch to something more complex. So the other template we have in our quick start is this one. It's basically a list of items. So item is in our application is a simple Pojo class with price and name. And we want to list these items in our template and display the name, price, so on, do some logic here. The interesting part is in this template is the first line, which is basically we have two approaches how to specify the type information for a template, and this is the first one. We call it parameter declaration, and it's basically a binding of a type to a name. So in this case,
Martin, your sound is breaking up a bit. Do you have a lot of stuff running on your computer or something? Because your connection is fine, but your sound is breaking up for some reason.
No. Sorry about that. But
well, maybe it's back again, I think. Try continue again and then see.
Okay. Just shout out if something goes wrong again. So yeah, so I just said that this basically says that items, any expression in a template that references this name can be validated. So in our case, here is an expression that says item name, and that means that if you look at item, which comes from items, which is our item Pojo, so that means that we will attempt to validate whether there is a name property present on the item class. So if I look at the template or result, so this is how it looks when I render the page, and when I do a mistake like this, I say item names and item has no names obviously, and reload it, I get some error. Actually, this fancy page is not present in the latest release. It's in the master, so you will need to wait for the next release to see this fancy page. We have a little bit more. Yeah.
Before I just
the current. Yeah, in the current page looks like an exception where you can see this information, but we don't have this this information which tells you which exception exactly is wrong.
So this is Qute and Rest Easy specific?
No, that's not. But you need actually you can use reactive routes and you should get the same result.
Oh, okay, nice. It's a security well, Tokyo is asking if this is a security concern, the question, but this only shows up in dev mode, right?
Yeah, exactly. So it's development mode only, so I don't think it's a security issue.
Yeah, so that's another thing we do a lot. Basically, there's a lot of stuff in Quarkus dev mode that you wouldn't want in a production application, but that is super useful as a developer. Like this page is like absolutely, totally useful for you as a developer to figure out what's going on. You don't want to have to weed through the console output log, but obviously in a production application, you wouldn't want this, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Max, we can't hear you.
Sorry. Yeah. Then Jeremy asked, like, why do you report directly the error marker in the IDE? So, you want me to answer that one?
So you can actually do this in IDE. I'll talk about this later, but we need our Quarkus application to be started to do the validation properly. One of the reasons for this is that these expressions present in the template, the properties and methods there don't have to be backed by a real method or field. So we have some ways how to extend the existing classes. And so we need to be able to, we need to do the full build of your application in order to be able to report all the incorrect expression correctly.
And just to add to it, there's a few things like, yes, I do think we should add some stuff into IE that can help so you don't have to go and look. But not everyone wants to have to, oh, sorry. We don't want everyone to have to install a Quarkus tool to get this kind of help because we already have the context, right?
Yeah.
So we do want to have it in the tool, and then we don't want to force it. So you still want people to be helped. But also, as you said, like the IDE just cannot, even how much they try, cannot have a perfect understanding. We actually have that in dev mode, which is one of the fantastic things. And I didn't actually know you had this on added because the one thing I know we want to add here is links back to IDE. You like the line 13 and 12, whatever. We actually have enough context to open up the IDE on that line too. But that's a future thing. But I just realized it while you showed it. So.
Yeah, unfortunately, we're not going to show our IDE integration, but I know that we have some quite nice features in Visual Code, but I don't use it. So. But by the way, if you look at this template or part of the template, here we use something called item discounted price, and that's what I was talking about. We actually allow users to extend the existing classes. So it's very similar to, I don't know, extension methods in Kotlin and stuff like that. Because obviously, item, if you look at our Pojo, our item does not declare discounted prices or getter for discounted prices or anything like that. But we have some concept which is called template extensions, which is basically you can declare a static method and extend the existing functionality or add computed properties and so on. In this case, the simplest possible case, we have a static method that is called discounted price. So the name of the method is used to match the property name. And then the first argument of the method is used to match the type, which means that in this case, whenever Qute finds an item during the resolution, it knows how to resolve discounted price property as well, even though there is no such getter or property declared on the item.
And you can add additional parameters to it. So it's just
Yeah.
the first one that's the cool.
Yeah, exactly. It's actually a little bit more complicated. If you look at the Java doc, there are plenty of possibilities you can do. Like you don't have to match the method name. You can provide your own name or even regular expression if you want to, and then add a few parameters. Maybe we'll get to this later.
Okay. So we actually got another question about the tools. Like, will it be autocomplete support for IDE to use update properties in templates? So I can answer saying that we can do some of them, and we are not sure when we'll have it. But one thing is we also have we know we can also do that if you have demo running. We could query Quarkus to actually get this information about the missing properties. So anyway, it's not there now, I think, but it's on our things we would like to do when we have more time.
Okay. So there's actually one more thing I wanted to show in this Jax-RS results, and that's the other way how we add the type information into template. It's actually, we call it Typeshift templates, and it works like this. Instead of injecting a template, you add a static class in your project, and then this is a little bit tricky why it works. Like you specify a static native method which returns a template instance. You use the template method name to identify the template, and then you can pass parameters that are automatically bound to the correct name. In our case, we have a list of items, and we call it, how do we call it, items. And now the final thing I need to add is to add the checked annotation, checked template annotation. This annotation is there so that we can just, discover those classes. And the cool thing is that when you use this one, you can remove the parameter declaration because it's added automatically. And then you can use it directly in your code. So instead of we had templates, items, and data. Quarkus under the hood actually generates the content of the static method for you. That's why we need to use the native keyword, which is a bit maybe confusing, but it works really nice. So,
yeah. But this is, I remember when I saw this first time again, I was like, what? Hey, wait. But I think the important thing here is that this is an attempt to, again, get more type safety
yes,
all the way through. Before we have, let's say, if you had like proper records or named, what's called name, what sort of feature we're waiting for? Yeah. But anyway, the thing is that this is Java has some limitations, and this is one of the ways of us to we're gonna misuse. Hold on, we're gonna use it native for. We don't use native very often, so in this case we use it to kind of represent.
yeah, it's a bit confusing, and
yeah.
to be honest, that's one of the parts of the API why, or one of the reasons why Qute is still considered an experimental extension or experimental feature, because there are some parts of the API and even SPI where we are not 100% sure whether it's the best way we can do, but that's what we have right now.
By the way, we got Antonio asking questions just before. He says, when doing a post, can you bind attributes from entry fields? If yes, can you add basic validation?
So one thing we should note here is that Qt is just a templating engine. It's not a MVC framework or anything like that. So it would be definitely possible to use Qt as the view layer in any MVC solution, such as, I don't know, what's the Jakarta specification for MVC, but we don't do any how to say that any actions, any integration on this level. Qt is purely used to render some output from a text template.
Yeah. So right now we don't have a specific handling for it, but if we did, that sounds like very doable. So yeah. Okay. You got more, Martin?
Yeah, I'm just thinking what would be the best, the next best thing to show.
While you think, I'll just tell people ask questions in the chat and we will jump in. We already got a lot, but just keep them coming.
Okay, so I'll stop sharing for a while.
Sure.
To see.
So another thing we use this a lot, I think. Well, a lot. We've seen people use it, and I know Clement uses it as well. It's like in email templates, right? So you don't.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't have to return like an HTML page in JAX-RS endpoint, but you just want to send an email or something, and you don't want to concatenate Java strings all over the place. So this is a great use case for that, right?
Yeah, exactly. So Qt is, like I said, it's a general templating engine. So you can use it, for example, if you need to render some HTML reports in your application or send emails and so on. We also do try to do some basic content negotiation. So, for example, in the you mentioned the mailer extension. So you just write two versions of the template, like the HTML one and plain text, and we do all the stuff for you so that you just use the API to send the email, and that should work.
And another about just for people who are on Quarkus Dev, we are actually using now. We have this little experiment. prototype of a dev console for Quarkus, of having a page that you can assemble all the different pieces for different extensions, like debug information and lookup. Again, one of the things we don't want in production, but in dev mode, it's very nice. And that's actually being currently proposed as basically a Qute template, so that an extension can contribute to this dev console without having any custom libraries or other stuff hooked in. And then Antio says, if I create a tool with Quarkus CLI, could I use Qute to write the man page?
Yeah.
I guess you can.
You can.
So yeah.
Is man page still a thing?
Yeah, I don't know, but yeah, you can. I'll probably recommend to use Pico CLI's man page generator, but yeah, you could use Qute there if you want to. I want to say, and Antonio says if it makes sense, but is it possible to provide template from a file that is not inside the Quarkus project?
Yeah, so I try to answer this one.
Yeah.
Yes, you can use the templates, like I said, from the source main resources and so on. These templates are validated and it's easier to use because you can inject them and so on. But Qute itself, you can, for example, parse the template on the fly, then store the template some like normal Java reference and use it. So it's possible, definitely. Except that, again, you will lose some of the features because we cannot validate templates if the file is not known before.
And I think that's I remember, again, first time you talked about Qute, I was like, I couldn't get around my head. It's like, these features that Antonio's talking about, like, can I just either take the files from somewhere else, a file location, HTTP, or even just build the template dynamically, as you can with any other template language or template engine? And the answer is yes, you can do that. But when Martin says you're losing features, it's not like you're not losing features that you would normally could do in FreeMarker and Velocity. Like Qute is the same there. It's just these build time and feedback and better error conditions. Error reporting. You only get when you actually are available doing build and not a pure runtime thing. So.
Yeah, exactly. Actually, if you look at our page, website, Quarkus website, and if you look at the guides and type Qute there, you will see that we have two guides. The first one is some kind of introduction, so that we show the JAX-RS example and so on. And then we have Qute reference guide, which is quite a long document because we talk about the biggest features, but there are plenty of features we have because we need to provide some basic, for example, internationalization and so on. So we have some data formatting and stuff like that. That said, there are a lot of features that are built in when you start a new engine instance. Using standalone Qute.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, like one thing that not surprised me, but is if you use Qute directly, you get what's it called? I can't remember. You get an engine that is default set up to be used for build time enhancement and not reflection. But you can actually, I forgot now the name, but you can actually tell Qute, hey, please enable reflection, so you can do that.
Yes, that's actually a good question. So first of all, we have a reflection fallback, say, so that that's the last thing we try to do when running your application. We use reflection if there are no other possibilities. And I forgot to mention that if you use the type safe variants of our templates, like the parameter declarations and static native methods and so on, you don't have to do anything else. We just, under the hood, we generate some classes that allows Quarkus or Qute to access the properties and call the methods without reflection. But then if you want to specify, for example, some custom rules how to create the underlying generated classes. We have some annotations and so on. But again, we have a reflection fallback. So
so that means that if anything goes wrong, awesome. If it's not available to build, we can still find it. So is there? So this is one of the things that have you actually done performance testing of Qute? Because with this stuff being code generated and async, we should be able to.
I was expecting this question. So we only did a very simple micro benchmark because it's quite tricky to create a proper micro benchmark for stuff like that. In my opinion, Qt is fast enough, but there are obviously libraries that are faster. And I think the main reason is because of the async stuff, because we do have to do a lot of more locations, because when we render the template, all the resolution API has to be async. We create a lot of, actually our API is based on the completion stage. So we create a lot of completable features and so on, because we need to be async from the top to bottom. So we allocate a lot more objects, but I think it's fast enough.
Okay, so it's okay. It's fast, but then for it's wait, it's not going to be. Is that going to be a runtime issue? I guess. Yeah.
I actually don't think so, because we're talking about the performance of the let's call it infrastructure call. Like if you call a very simple hello world template, but if you work with real templates, then usually add your own stuff like formatting dates and so on, and that's much more complex and much more expensive. So you can create a micro benchmark where you render, I don't know, 20,000 templates per second. But then once you start adding normal stuff, you usually use, then it goes down.
Yeah, got it. Okay. You want anything else to show, Martin?
I don't know. So maybe just maybe I will share my screen again. How many time do we have? 15 minutes or so.
Yeah. You're not sharing anymore. So
yeah, I know. Yeah. I need to push the button.
There we go.
So I just wanted to show our guides. So if you type Qute, you will see the two guides I was talking about, and the Qute reference guide is the big one, the long one document. And one thing I wanted to show is our attempt to introduce the Typeshift message bundles. Because
can you zoom in just a little bit? Just make it a bit bigger. There
is it better?
Yeah.
So this is our attempt to solve some, again, localization issues, because users usually use resource bundles and so on. And this is our way how we try to add the type-safe and Qt templates into the game. I mean, when doing some localization. So it's very simple. The basic concept is that we use something similar to JBoss logging, where you define an interface and you annotate your methods with some annotations. And in this case, we allow you to use Qt templates directly in the messages. So this simple example can be used to output a value for a key hello name, and you can map or use the method parameters here directly in the template. And it's one of the features that needs to be stabilized, but it could be pretty useful, because then the only thing you need to do to add some localization is to add the properties file, and this file needs to map to this interface, and we do a lot of validation for you. So in this example, we have a simple hello method name, but if you look at, wait a minute here, a localization file could look like this. It's a ordinary properties file. You use the key and then your localized template, which is actually using the same properties. So that's just one thing.
So what kind of validation do you get?
So in this case, we validate that there is a message with this key.
Okay.
And then we validate that this one is correctly mapped to this one.
Got it.
So
Okay.
string is not that interesting, but if you pass again some class, then we can validate the properties and so on. And you can even use all the constructs from Qute here in the template. So you can use if, you can use iteration like loops and so on. So that's another cool thing, I would say.
Okay. And there was a Toshishio is asking, is it possible to use Qute with reactive APIs?
Yeah. So actually, right now our API is built on top of completion stage from JDK, but we do plan to add some more support for Mutiny and its reactive types. Right now, you can use completion stage, anything that implements completion stage as a template data directly. So that means that, for example, even Mutiny has methods to convert to completion stage. So for example, if you use a Vertex client, web client, to obtain some data and you receive a Mutiny type, for example, you can pass it directly to the template. And once everything is ready, the rendering is triggered so that we don't block when you try to render the template.
Very nice. Okay.
And that's made possible because like Qute does, it's from top to bottom all reactive, right?
Yeah, actually, it's it's quite interesting question because we do the resolution of all the expressions is asynchronous, but once we have everything ready, the template is ready, like all the expressions are ready. Then we just append the chunks to the template. So this one, the final step is blocking, but it's a very tiny step because we believe that it wouldn't be worth like using async APIs here.
So basically what you're saying is that, yes, we might be, if you compare just to raw generation, we might be a little bit slower in the infrastructure, but if you want to generate a lot of spam emails, we are very good at it at the same time.
Yeah, we don't have benchmark for this.
Yeah, no, but I'm saying that the throughput should be higher, concurrent throughput should be higher in this compared to others. So yeah. Okay. Anything else? And by the way, anyone who's listening, you have about 12 minutes left, so ask questions. If you don't have about Qute, you can ask anything else. We do also, as Martin can also talk about CDI if he wants to. But anyway, do you have anything else from Qute land?
Well,
all covered.
No, I would recommend anyone who is interested to look at the introduction guide and then at the reference guide, and that's it. And maybe play with the quick start. That would be also awesome.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, go ahead, man.
No, I just wanted to mention that any feedback is welcome. So we are still adding features and fixing bugs and so on. So it's still evolving. So any feedback is appreciated.
So maybe one thing I could ask for is yeah, you have all the control structures like if, while, and iteration kind of thing. How about escaping? I remember there's some funny discussion about escaping. That what do we actually end up with there? Of being able to generate code that might have complex or ambiguity.
So you mean like escaping of HTML entities or escaping?
Well, any kind of escaping. Like I know, like when I use FreeMark and stuff, I always battle that it does some automatic. But like what do you do if you want to code generate Java code when it is coded braces?
Yeah, I see.
Or
No, I
HTML,
understand.
also HTML to insist, like that kind of thing. The edge cases of mixing HTML or anything else, yeah.
Yeah. So actually, what we do is that first of all, sorry, it seems that my camera's
Yeah, it'll come back.
yeah. So what we do is that by default, if you use the curly braces, but if it's followed by some
You
white,
want to show it in the code?
yeah, we can actually show this. We can even share the guide because it's mentioned there.
Yeah.
Um,
I'll turn you on. There we go.
okay, so in this example, can you see my screen?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just zoom in one more, like one tab more.
So this one shows the defaults we have. So for example, if you do this, then it's not parsed because here we have some white space. If you do this, which is the expression from Mustache.js, again, it's not parsed. It's completely ignored by Qute because the first character after the braces is again the same. The same applies here. So JSON is safe if you go with that. And then we have other possibilities. So first of all, you can escape the braces, like here it is mentioned in the note. And then we have another possibility, which is, let's try to find it here. We call it unparsed character data. And this basically a block that allows you to add anything, any content. And the content is part of the template, but it's not rendered. Sorry, it's not parsed. So you can have anything inside it.
So it's like a C data thing. It's like a multi.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Use this syntax, and as far as I know, there is only one conflict. Like this, this combination is used by some JavaScript library. Probably.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
So that's it.
Yeah, now I remember because yeah, this is actually nice. I think in the early days you didn't do the spacing, like curly braces, something with a space. Actually, Qute picked it up, but you fixed that, and that actually means now that I can use it for, like in JBang, I use it for generating code, and yeah, I don't have to do any escaping. It's literally just
yeah. It could be a problem if you use some compressed JavaScript, for example. But if you use normal code or even, I don't know, GraphQL or JSON or anything like that, it should work out of the box.
Okay, and I think we have a few minutes left, and I saw Tony ask you a fun question here. It's not about Qute or about CDI. Is the difference between Weld and Arc only about pullable extensions? Any other difference?
Yeah, there are plenty of differences. So I don't know where to start, but it's the main difference is that Arc is build time oriented, which means that when you start to build your application, we do all the wiring, all the validation of injection points and so on. Whereas in Weld, which is a runtime CDI implementation, we don't do anything during build, right? We start do all the validation and building metadata and so on when the application is started. So that's the main difference, because in Arc we can fail fast. Even if we attempt to run your application, you just fail and say, hey, you don't have a bean for this particular injection point. So that's the main one.
Yeah, so that's the main technical difference. Like, why is there different ones? And I think what Antonio is asking for is also, is there anything beyond portable extension that we do different to the CDI spec? I think that's.
Yeah. So first of all, we don't implement everything from the spec. There are, from our experience, there are parts of the spec that are usually buggy and don't bring that much for users. So, for example, decorators. And on the other hand, we also add a lot of stuff that is not mentioned in the spec, and we have a list of non-portable features that we added. It's mentioned in the docs.
Okay. Can you mention just one? Just
Well, there's like default beans and profile-specific beans, stuff like that.
And also build time, again, bound to the build. Like you can say that only if you build your application with a specific profile, then the bean is enabled or not.
Yeah, that kind of thing. Yeah, yeah, and this is what I think. Yeah, we don't do public extensions because it's a lot of not overhead, I guess, and hard to do. But you've added features to Arc that is normally done by public extension, right? Like for example, the default bean and profile you could do as public extensions, but we don't because that will give us too much overhead. Right?
Yeah, it's actually not only about the overhead, but it's portable extensions. They just don't fit the build time approach. Like portable extensions usually save some state and so on, and we can't do that when we do all the stuff during build, because then we would have to serialize it somehow and so on. So Arc has some our version of portable extension, or actually it's a set of APIs that that can be used to replace the functionality provided by portable extensions. But it's working in the build and so on.
And are these things we're actually trying to suggest to the spec, or how's that going? I know we talked about it, but I don't know what the status is.
CDI Lite is actually, some people are working on it, but I'm not part of the team. I'm only a consultant. So I don't know in which state it currently is. I know that there are some API prototypes which should basically offer the same functionality and so that it can be standardized. I mean, the same functionality like we have in Arc, for example.
Yeah. No, I think I think that's a good point too. A good note to end on is that we have all the stuff we've done in Arc that is different. Some are done just because we want it to be at build times, and others are and the stuff we've chosen not to do in the CDI spec is not because we don't like it. It's just that it was a choice between, being build time or not. And all that stuff we are trying to feed back to the specs as much as we can. And that's the CDI Lite specs. Maybe we should have, maybe in the new year or whatever the timeline is. Is that who's actually working on that? The CDI spec from our side?
It's currently Matej Novotny, who is our current build project lead, and also Ladislav from Quarkus team.
Yeah, we should try and get that on.
And there are others like Anton and so on.
Cool. Okay. Well, anyway, we reached the hour and we got a good bunch of questions. So thank you guys for that. And Martin, thank you for going on. And yeah, I don't know exactly what's going to happen next week. I know there is something, but it's not committed yet. And otherwise, in 2 weeks, we're going to have Antonio, if I remember the timeline correctly, about his books. So thank you guys, and
Great.
see you around.
Yep.
Thanks a lot. Thanks, everybody.